like, what's the best way for us to get the most money? Because, you know, I got to sell this home in order to buy the next home.
Right.
Right. So I want to make sure I'm willing to do whatever we got to do to make sure we get a good price, because then I got to use that for the down payment. And so I think that's really important. You know, like, how are we going to get the most money? How are you going to, you know, market the property? You know, and make sure that we get a good price. Like, you were referred to me, right? So, but I'd like to know, like, what your plan is.
Listen, those are awesome questions to ask. I'm glad you brought that out. It should be crystal clear by the end of our conversation, the options that you have as a homeowner and which direction is going to be the best for you and your family. So we'll definitely go over any questions of how to net you the most amount of money, game plan together, what's going to be the clear path to get us to the next step, and most importantly, what we can do in order to achieve those goals and how we go about doing that as a team. Okay.
Right.
Cool. So let's jump into it really quick. A little bit about myself. My name is Robert. I'm a local agent here. I'm a Zillow Premier agent and a local agent here in the area now for the past 20 years. I started off doing finances in the early 2000s. In 2009, we started investing in properties as well. And in 2012, we opened up a broker shop here in San Jose called PRG Realty. The reason why I'm bringing this up, Enrique, is because I consider myself a really, really well-rounded agent. If there's any questions that you have in regards to the process, any questions that you'd like for me to dig in a little bit deeper, just feel free to let me know, and I'll be more than glad to kind of pause, slow things down, and dive into a little bit more. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions about me? Anything that you have on my end?
No, I looked at you guys' website. I kind of looked you guys up already a little bit. So,
really
you know,
cool. Okay.
Yeah. John, you know, had told us he had a good, you know, process with you guys. So I thought I'd just, you know, hear what you guys have to say. So
really cool, really cool. Okay, well, I appreciate that. So let's get down to it of actually why we're here. Usually when I have conversations with you folks, there's a reason of why we want to sell the house, because this place looks amazing. So I just kind of want to get an idea and a sense of what's making you take that next step. Why are we considering selling the house now? Why not last year? Why not next year? What makes now so special?
I think we just outgrown this place. We've thought about selling for a few years now,
okay.
You know, and then once we had, you know, our kid, you know, he's now 2, you know, plus the other 2 kids, like, you know, we're in a 3-bedroom, we got 3 kids.
Right.
I work from home sometimes too, and it's just like, we're cramped in here. Like, it's too small of a home. The kids are going to need their own room. We definitely love the area, so we don't want to necessarily get out of the area because our kids are going to be going to school here.
Okay.
But we need something bigger.
You need something bigger.
Yeah, something bigger, like at least the 4-bed and something with bigger square footage and like a yard and all that. Because this home's like 1,200 square feet. So it's just, we're like, and you see all the stuff.
Right.
We're kind of stacked, you know, here, and yeah, like it's time.
Yeah, you've kind of outgrown this place. Is that am I understanding that?
Yeah, we've outgrown it. We've been saving some money, and I know we've got some equity here in the property, and you know, I don't know if it's the right time to, like, if it's the best time to sell,
right.
Like, and that's something that maybe I'd want to know more from you.
Okay.
It's like, if it's a good time to sell, but if I can like get in something bigger and like stay local and, you know, kind of make it like a seamless transaction.
Right.
I mean, I think it makes sense for us. You know?
Okay. Now, I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, listen, I can't see things being a little tight here for you folks. So it does make sense of why you're planning on taking the next step. Now, this next step that you're taking, have you thought about like a little bit more in detail? Like, if you had a magic wand, you know, explain to me like the other side. I know you gave me some kind of surface level, like bigger lawn, bigger house.
Yeah.
But have you talked about like areas yet? Have you gone down that route yet?
I mean, we love the area, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we're in Willow Glen.
So you're staying in this area.
We want to stay in Willow Glen.
Okay.
We want to stay, you know, in the schools, and we have friends in the area.
Awesome.
But we just want something bigger. Basically.
Something bigger.
Yeah,
okay.
So we don't want to leave out of the area. Like, the area is perfect for commute, jobs, and all that stuff, and we love the neighborhood. You know, it doesn't have to be like central Willow Glen, like even the outskirts.
On the outskirts.
Definitely something not too far away from here.
Okay. Well, my job is to bring anything that's in the dark into the light, right? So I want to make sure that you're well informed before you decide to take any sort of steps. So let me ask you this: have you sat down with the finance expert yet? Has you gone down and run down the numbers yet?
I haven't. No, other than like some online calculators.
Okay.
I've kind of done that and punched some numbers in, and I think our budget is maybe like $2 million if we buy something else.
Okay.
It's based off some rough numbers of what we can put down and payments and all that.
Really cool. Okay.
But I haven't really met with the finance guy. I mean, we shouldn't have a problem getting qualified. We have good income and the credit's good.
Perfect.
It's just a matter of like, how do we make it all happen? You know.
Okay. No, that's good. That's really good. So So you sound like you have a gist of how the process of how it should work. One big question is our down payment. Is our down payment tied to this house? Do we have to sell the house in order to get the down payment?
Yeah, we
Okay.
definitely need the down payment, and then I have some stock I'm gonna liquidate. So between that, we'll be able to put a good chunk on the new house, so our payments aren't too crazy.
Got it. So what about an option of refinancing this house and keeping this house for future rental? Is that something you folks want to go down, or have you thought about, have you explored that option?
Probably not.
Okay.
Because we do need the equity. I don't want to have like a huge mortgage.
Right,
I don't,
right.
Yeah, I don't want to be strapped every month trying to pay that payment.
Got it.
So we've been here for 10 years. We built up some equity. I mean, we bought this place for 600,000. It's
Yeah.
probably worth, I don't know. Zillow said like 1.5 million or something.
Okay. Well, okay.
Yeah. So I
Sounds
don't know.
about right.
I don't know if that's in the ballpark.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we have some equity here.
Right. You do.
I pulled out a little bit of cash, but we owe like 700 on the property.
Okay.
And so I'd like to put $1 million down if I can, between the money here and between the money in my stock.
Okay.
If I could put $1 million down on the new place and have a mortgage of about $1 million.
Okay.
Like a $2 million house, then that.
Okay. So here's something that I would probably recommend, and I'll provide this for you. I think it's always important for sellers to know what they're going to net at the end of the day, right? Because at the end of the day, we could talk about how fancy we're going to get as far as selling it. We're probably going to high five each other at the end of the process because we're doing such a great job. I go, but it really comes down to how much you're going to net at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So what I can provide for you at the end of this conversation, I'll put together what we call a seller net sheet.
Okay.
And in that net sheet is going to have a pretty good estimated number of what we should sell this home for. But most importantly, what you should be walking away with.
Got it.
Because from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Enrique, it sounds like we have to sell this house and use these proceeds in order to go to the new house. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. So that would probably be the first step. So I'm going to write this down. I'll provide you with the net sheet at the end. I'll send it to your email and we'll have a conversation about that as well. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. So sounds good. So I appreciate you sharing that with me, Enrique. Is there any hurdles that you see in this whole process, kind of taking steps? I mean, I kind of want to know what's kind of scaring you a little bit about kind of possibly taking the next step.
Not really hurdles. I mean, I work a lot. I work from home half the time, and I commute to I'm in the office half the time. So just like trying to make it all happen.
Right.
My parents don't live too far away. So if we needed to stay with them, while we're selling the property, we can do that. I don't know. That's where I need your advice. Like, should we move out? Can we still live here? Like, I don't know how to, like, what's the best way? I also don't want like to be disturbed every day,
Yeah.
Like,
No.
is how our house is selling fast. Like, I don't know. Right.
That makes complete
Things
sense.
where I need kind of like the strategy.
Yeah. Those questions always pop up when I have conversations like that. And I'm sorry if I'm asking a bunch of questions up front, but usually I ask questions to make sure that I know the scenario itself. And now we go into the next phase of my thought process is figuring out how to make this an easier process, easier transition. Okay. So let's talk about it really quick. So what I would probably recommend if you gave me a choice, I would love to have a house completely empty. Now, I know for a fact that that's not usually always realistically possible.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, would you like to stay in the property while the process is being completed? Or is that something that you are kind of adamant about? Say, listen, Robert, I'm going to go move in with my in-laws or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Do you have another option?
We're flexible. If we can do it, whatever's going to be easier where we're like, doesn't disrupt everything we got going on.
Okay.
So that's something me and my wife have talked about. Like, we have to move out and then like just hand you the property.
You're open to that, huh?
Yeah. I got my parents have extra,
Oh, really cool.
yeah, they have an empty house. Like, it's just them. Like, we can stay there. They watch our kids anyway. So
Awesome.
if we needed to stay there temporarily, we can.
Okay.
If you're like, hey, we can do it while we live here. I don't know. Like, what's gonna be the best result for us is really what I want to know.
Okay, so now if you're giving me the choice, so if you're giving me the choice,
Yeah.
the best case scenario that for me and my team would be to have the house completely empty. Reason being is because you're going to have a lot of movement prior to jumping on the market. For example, staging, deep cleanings are going to happen. Photography, videographers, you're going to have contractors are going to be coming in and out. So it might be a little bit of a disturbance going through all that. We have done it in the past just to let you know that.
Yeah.
But if you left it up to me, it would be completely empty. Now, that's one thing to think about.
Yeah.
The second thing to think about is that what we've noticed in the past, that homes that are available to be shown at all times just fare a lot better. This is a big decision, selling a house and buying a house. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I found in the past is sometimes when you're a buyer, and I'm not sure when the last time you were a buyer, but if you put yourself in that position, sometimes they'll go to a house not only just one time, they might go 2, 3, 4 times.
Yeah.
Right. And those are good things for us, right? The more times that people go into a home, the more they like the house.
Yeah.
Right. So having full access to a property for a buyer and their agent to go view the property is always a big plus.
Yeah, we saw this property like probably 2 or 3 times. I think we came back at different times, came back on the weekend and at night too.
That's right.
Yeah, but it was like 10 years ago. I forgot it was.
Buyers.
Yeah. It was empty now that I remember.
Yeah.
It was completely empty. They didn't even have a stage.
That's right. So we want to make sure that we don't put roadblocks in front of the decision making of a buyer's, right? So if our job, if we had a perfect world, was to take as many roadblocks as way we can from the buyer so that they can do their due diligence and not only make a logical decision, but more importantly, make an emotional decision, because that's how prices get driven up, right? So if you gave me the choice, that would be the best case scenario. Now, I understand, Kiki, again, that's not always how it happens, right? So that might be a conversation that you folks may want to kind of figure out. Either way, I don't want to scare you off on the process.
Yeah.
We've been successful with both sides.
Got it. Yeah, I just think, but now that you're telling me that, I have a 2-year-old.
Right.
She makes a mess. Dude.
I get it.
Right?
I get it.
We might clean up, and then she's gonna spill juice. If we got a fire, I can already see my wife giving me shit for that.
I get it.
So,
I gotta say that too.
I think I'd rather just, once we say, okay, we're moving forward, we could be out. My cousin's a mover. He can move all our shit out, and we can go stay at my parents probably for, how long do you think it's going to take though to get this home sold?
Okay, so that's a great question. It's a little bit later, right? It's in our conversation in regards to having, in regards to looking at the data. So the good thing about my situation is that I take my emotions out of it.
Yeah.
Data is going to speak on behalf of us,
Okay.
right? So I feel more comfortable if I walk you through the data so that you can see it with your own eyes, and then we can assess the situation together. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. So that would be how I would take care of the inside of the front. Now, as far as my company, let me kind of explain what you're getting yourself into. I pride ourselves that we're a white glove service company. We take care of everything from A to Z.
Okay.
I would be 100% lying to you if I said that I do everything myself. I have an amazing team that you're going to meet. I have 2 assistants in the background. Andrea is going to be part of the process. You have also Melissa that's part of the process.
Okay.
So when you decide to jump into our PRG family, right, you now have access to everyone that's behind me. Okay. So what the benefit of that is that you're always going to have contact with somebody, right? If it's myself, I'm your point of contact. But if for whatever reason I can't, you have Andrea, who's amazing. My business would not be able to run without her, right? And she'll be able to kind of also guide you through the process. Okay. Now, the reason why I bring them up is since they do play a big part, the moment that we decide to jump up into contract together or we decide to ratify our relationship, then Andrea is going to step in and she's going to start handling a lot of the dates that are required for us to have. For example, staging, for example, all that stuff that we'll talk about in a bit. She'll be able to
have someone that helps handle all that.
For sure.
Cool.
Now, that being said, I also have a brokerage here in San Jose. I do say I'm a brokerage, right? So I also have a brokerage here in San Jose with about 25 to 30 agents.
Okay.
Now, the reason why that's a big benefit for you is because, again, I'd be lying if my success was only on me. My success falls on my team. And one of the big benefits that you're going to see is that when you have an open house, you're not just going to have me. You're going to have a team working the open house, capturing leads in order to convert those leads into offers, which is what you want, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Is there any questions about that? Anything I can help you out with?
No, it makes sense. I saw on your guys' website or that Zillow thing you sent. I saw a few of your team members and stuff like that.
Okay. You'll get to know them. Trust me. They'll know you by first name. You'll have conversations with them as well. I'll still be your point of contact, but it's just a family, how we treat the business on our end. It's just an amazing experience that we've had with plenty of our clients. Okay.
All
right. Any questions? I know I'm throwing everything to you like a fire hose. Can I just check in with you and just see?
Yeah. It makes sense.
Okay.
We haven't sold a house. We bought a house. My parents sold their last home.
Really cool.
kind of saw how that went a little bit.
What was that experience like?
Their agent kind of sucked, to be honest.
Did it
Which is why I
really?
didn't
Oh man,
call her. They actually told me, they
really?
didn't even tell me to call her agent. Like,
Yeah,
kind of brought up, I'm not gonna say her name, but
yeah.
she didn't really get them a good price. Like, I just feel like she dropped the ball. Like, she didn't seem as well organized as you are.
Oh, I appreciate that.
It was just her like doing everything.
Well, let me ask you this, Enrique. Are you planning on interviewing other agents?
I mean, so far I like what you're saying.
Oh, yeah,
I don't like to waste people's time. So
Right.
like, if I feel good and like, that's why I want to kind of see the whole plan.
Good.
Then, if I don't need to interview agents, if I have any doubts, then, probably explore other options. But so far, you seem like a straight shooter and I'm a straight shooter.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. I mean, listen, I am here to earn your business, Enrique. So just know that I do say that. I am here to earn your business, Enrique. So just understand that. So if there's anything that I need to dive a little bit more deeper, please let me know.
All right.
Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's move on to the next step. In regards to the data and the numbers itself.
Mhm.
Okay. How are we doing this? Just kind of guess it.
I mean,
The data?
I'm assuming you're flowing through that.
No, yeah, no, I am.
Right there,
But I'm
right.
talking about data.
You're
The CMA.
You're free.
The CMA.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's
Stay on.
okay. So
You guide it the way you want to guide it.
Okay.
It's up to you, right?
So let's take a look at the data. I have to make up data, guys. So just FYI. Okay.
Yeah.
So guys, let's okay. So let's jump into the data. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me show you what I'm showing you right now. This is the MLS. I have access to every home in California.
Okay.
More specifically, I have access to the Bay Area that's around your home. So as you can see, these homes right here are the homes that closely resemble your home. Now, let me explain a little bit more about that because I think a lot of agents glossed over that really quick. Okay. So I'm looking at data the same exact way that a third-party independent appraiser is going to be looking at your home. Okay. Non-biased. They're just there to give a price. Okay.
Yeah.
And their criteria goes as follows. They want to look at all active, pending, contingent, sold homes within the last 6 months, right? That are plus minus 200 square feet of your home.
Okay.
Based on that data, you can see here that we pulled up 7 homes that closely resemble that search criteria that are most likely your home. Do you see those 7 homes?
Mhm.
Okay. I do this, guys. The next step that I do, guys,
Don't break character.
Okay. the next thing that I do, I'm sorry. So now that you have the data, the next thing I want us to look at is that I want us to look at the map, right? So I pull up the map. And the reason why I want to look at the map is because I want to make sure that homes that we're speaking about make sense. So if we're looking at homes that cross the freeway, that cross the major ones, we want to X those out. And we only want to deal with a certain population that's going to end up making sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we don't want the ones like by the freeway. or anything.
Right. So based on that now, we've narrowed it down to 3 comps. Okay. Narrowed it down to 3 comps. I have here your first comp that's listed at 1.3.
Okay.
Okay. You have another comp that's listed for 1.25.
Okay.
And then you have another comp at 1.75. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And any questions so far?
no.
Okay.
You skip to that part and just give me the range.
Okay. So based on the range, I'm looking at a range of about 1.175 to about 1.3. Now, that's a big range, Kike. Okay. So what I want us to look at is what a $1.3 million home looks like. What we're going to do together is we're going to compare. Is that house better than ours, the same as ours, or less than ours? Okay. So let's jump into it. Let's look at the first one.
Yeah.
This one's here listed for 1.3. House looks amazing, looks immaculate. Look at the pictures, look at the staging. House looks to be painted completely. Now, I've got to ask you, Enrique, how does that house compare to ours? Is it better than ours, the same as ours, or less than ours?
I mean, my house is a mess right now. I mean, but yeah, that home definitely shows a lot nicer. You could tell they kind of freshly spruced it up.
Okay.
Which I think our house can look like that if we just do a fresh coat of paint. We recently did the kitchen, so I think our upgrades are definitely similar, but right now it's lived in, right?
No, I get you.
But I think ours should probably look like that.
Okay, so that one's listed for 1.3. The great thing about my job, Enrique, is there's no more guessing game on my end, right? We know that the comps is 1.3, right? And we know that we can get 1.3. We just might have to do a little bit of work to get to that 1.3. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's go over to the next one, the 1.175, the lower of the comps.
Yeah.
Look at these pictures. Yeah, it doesn't look that great, huh? 100% agree with you. So based,
Ours is definitely.
that's right. So based on my assessment, looking at the house itself, I think that we're going to be on the higher end. Question me on that because I don't say it right. That's the way I say it. It's in the higher end of that spectrum. The question now is going to be, how do we get to that point? And that's where that's now where I'm going to end up kind of explaining to you what we do in order to get you that higher number.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. One thing before we move on in regards to your price, regards to the pricing, average days on market, Bay Area seems normal, 7 days. I'm going to say anywhere about 7 to 10 days, according to the data. It takes anywhere from about 7 to 10 days to sell a home, according to the data. Okay.
That's to like get an offer on, or not to close, right? How long does it take to?
And then you have another 30 days to close escrow.
Got it.
Yeah. So I'll give you
about a week homes or.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
They typically.
Yeah, here in the Bay Area, yeah.
What about like in this area as well?
Same thing.
All right.
And I'm going off of what data says, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, right. The data is telling me that 7 days. I'm just going off of what the data says. Data says 7 days. I'm probably going to feel comfortable at that point. 7 to 10 days if you want to give it to me like that.
Okay.
All right. There is something I want to explain to you. And when it comes to pricing a property out, I am really, really good at looking at data. Okay. Data doesn't scare me. There is something that I call the X factor. Do you happen to know what that is?
No.
Okay. This happens at every home. So the X factor is the data tells us one thing, but what we can't take into account is how much emotion a house has for a certain person. Okay. So let me explain what happens. I have a house. This is a true story, by the way. I have a house right now that's on Camacho. I ended up passing out flyers. And when I passed out flyers, what the lady right now that's ahead, she's to purchase the property, she's willing to pay $75,000 over, which is true. Actually, $85,000 over at the moment because her brother lives down the street and her mother lives in that same neighborhood.
Okay.
So what I want you to understand is I can't calculate that. That's what I call the X factor. So what's going to happen, Mr. Customer, is that if you do decide to go down and interview other agents and there's a discrepancy in price, I want us to make a decision off of what the data is telling them and then have faith in me that I'm going to do whatever it takes in order to drive those properties up. You cannot calculate X factor. And that one right there, there'd be no way that I would ever figure that out prior to meeting with those folks, that was going to end up happening, but that's how it played out just because of the marketing that we did. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like someone might pay more just because of like a factor like that, right?
Happens all the time. I'll tell you another story that's happening right now. I have a buddy named Mark, right? And what's happening with Mark right now is that Mark, when he's submitting homes on properties, he's going off of comps. But what he doesn't realize that you have to pay over market value at the moment. The reason being is because if you do not buy a home above market value, you could probably rest assured that you're going to be outpriced out of the neighborhood when another home pops up, right? So sometimes what has to happen is people realize that they have to bite the bullet, right? And just say, hey, listen, you know what? I know the house is not worth $1 million, but I'm going to pay $1,075,000 because I know I'm going to be able to recoup that money in the future. But again, that's the X factor. I can't figure that out.
So we might run into that when we're trying to.
That's right. No, there's a lot of it, but the good thing is you have me, right? So you don't have to worry about that. But what I want you to understand is for you on where you're at as a consumer, I want you to make your decisions off of data, right? And then allow me to surprise you at the end of the day if that's the direction we decide to go with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So right now I have the house at $1,300,000 is where I have it at. What do you think about that price?
I guess based on what you're showing me, it seems somewhat in the line.
Got it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to get more if I can.
Of course. Yeah.
I think when I was kind of doing my numbers, I was saying we can get like 1.4 million.
Okay.
That would give me more money to play with.
Right. It would definitely get you more money. Now let me ask you this. What you're asking for is not unrealistic. And what you're asking for, you're doing your job as a consumer, as a homeowner. Your job is to be asking for the most amount of money that you can, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. My job, and I'm hoping I don't cross the line, but my job is to be as truthful as I can with you. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
Now,
I think 1.3 is like definitely realistic,
I think,
but maybe if, we hit the X factor or someone really wants the property, might pay more.
of course, right? I won't know until I actually
Yeah.
start,
So I'd rather look at the numbers based off like what you're confident in, and then
yeah, I don't,
more, we get more.
I don't want to tell you a false pretense and you make your life around plan B off falsehoods.
Yeah.
So what I'd rather you do is make a decision off of actual data itself. And then at that point, if we happen to score more money, which is very, very realistic, Enrique, but it would be irresponsible of me to tell you that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, cool. So would there be any reason that if you had received an offer at 1.3 that you wouldn't, is that something that you would take the next step?
Yeah. I mean, I want to know like how much we'd walk away with and all that stuff, and like what your fees are and all that.
Okay. Okay.
'Cause I didn't know what that was. Factoring that into my calculations.
Okay, good. So let's jump into the next one. How am I going to get you that 1.3?
Mhm.
That's a big question that a lot of sellers ask me. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me explain what we do on our end. Again, I explained to you that I work as a team. And I've been doing this for 20 years. The crazy thing, Enrique, is that in the 20 years of me doing business, I have no idea where buyers are coming from.
Yeah.
Sounds a little weird that I have no idea where buyers are coming from. The reason why I don't know where buyers are coming from is because there's so many avenues that they can come in. So for example, your neighbor down the street can be interested. There might be renters and they're interested in buying this home, right? I might be able to do online marketing and get the buyer coming in from there. I might be able to look at my database and find out. There are dozens of avenues that buyers come from. So my commitment to you, Mr. Customer, is that I make sure that I cover all of my bases and that I sprinkle a little money here, a little money here, a little money here, so that I know that I covered my bases just in case. Just so that I know where the buyer's coming from.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Last one that came in, the one that I currently have in contract right now, literally came from a door knocking flyer. Neighbors were renting the property out, and now they're deciding to be homeowners themselves. That was just from an effort of passing out flyers through a neighborhood, right? So I make sure that I cover all of my bases when I'm out there, out and about.
Yeah.
Now, once we end up, the second thing that we do is that we host open house. So what I do, Mr. Customer, is I'm a big believer in open houses, and my open houses are a little bit different. I host open houses from 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock. The first weekend that we jump online is always a big one. The reason being is because the most interest that a house gets is always in the first part when the house is listed on the market.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to make sure that we cover it. Now, again, I can't do it all by myself.
Yeah.
So I will be there with my team. And if I do my job correctly, I'm hoping that we have a massive amount of buyers coming through that front door so that my team and I can go ahead and capture them and convert them into an offer. Okay. So my promise to you is you will have an open house until the house sells. Okay. The first open house is going to be from 11 to 4 o'clock. Okay. We're going to be running 2 shifts. Okay. We have a Friday twilight open house for the neighbors and for everybody that we're also hosting. And if we play our cards correctly, that front door, we should have a busy open house where it's going to end up being in your favor at the end in offers.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions so far? I'm throwing a bunch of stuff out there. So there's got to be a question you have out there.
Do you have like a pamphlet or anything that kind of like, it's a lot of stuff, right?
It is.
Maybe you could, send me after or something.
It is. I'll go ahead and stand up. I'll go ahead and sit. Oh yeah, it's right here.
Oh, I feel great, but I'm confused. I'm done, but I'm confused a little bit.
Okay. Let's get back. Yeah, it's right here. Okay. Where am
I
I?
think you're at the end already, bro.
No, it really is.
We're coming in time right now.
Okay.
Number
Number 2?
Go to commissions now. You already went past
Okay.
that.
Okay. So, any questions about that?
Different options. No.
Okay. So let's,
Show me. your different
Okay,
options. Not
okay,
tell me.
okay.
Show me.
So
your
let's
different
go now. So guys, mine usually take about like an hour and a half, FYI. Now you know why. Okay. So guys, let's talk about the commissions. I'm sure you're itching to know what the commissions are, right?
How much is it going to cost me, Rob? I love your enthusiasm. I love what you're saying. I mean, you sound like you're definitely confident in your abilities, but how much is it going to cost me? That's the bottom line.
I agree.
How much do I walk away with if we sell for 1.3? Like, what do I leave with in my pocket after? I know there's going to be fees and costs and stuff like that.
Okay. So the great thing, Gige, is that you get to pick what my commission is. As you can see, there we have 3 packages. We have a silver, a gold, and a platinum. Okay, it ranges anywhere from 2.5% to 3.5%.
Okay.
Let me explain what the platinum is, because that's probably the scariest number right off the bat. Listen, your home looks amazing. I don't see there being any issues where I need to bring in a contractor to come in here and fix certain stuff.
You think we should touch up like the paint though and stuff?
I mean,
Like if we're trying to get top dollar.
we're make believing. Okay, so okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, my kids can't. I
I
probably scrub those little crown marks off, but I don't know. Like we haven't painted in a while since we moved in.
Painting is not that bad. I think painting is dry. Okay, I think it's a little dry, right? So listen, a fresh coat of paint always makes things better when it comes to selling a property. Okay. That is something that I can help you out with if it's something that you are interested. Usually what happens is once we ratified our relationship, I'll bring out a contractor to come out here and kind of give us a line item as far as what everything costs. Okay. And then at that point, you can make a decision if you want to. If I can be honest, I don't see there being too bad that we can't clean that stuff up. But if would it add some value? Definitely. That's probably the cheapest thing that we can do that's going to give you the most amount of money in return, in my opinion. Okay. But there is going to be a cost to that. And we can cross that bridge if it's something that you decide to kind of do. Okay. The gold is basically everything, all of our marketing material that we do, but we take care of a couple of things. We take care of the home staging included. I take care of all that stuff, the home inspections. And then we also do what we call a Zillow seller showcase. And what that Zillow seller showcase is a marketing bundle package, a marketing package, marketing package through Zillow that has proven to get us anywhere from about 2 to 3% more on our listing. It has also increased the views that a buyer gets to see. And we skipped that, but if it's something that you're interested in, I can definitely show you this. Take a look at this, right? The video, play video, right? And then you have a silver package, which is 2.5%. The 2.5% is basically we do everything that we need to do our end in order as far as the marketing side, but we don't include the staging, inspections, or provide you with the Zillow showcase.
Got it. Now, how much does that make it? Does that make a difference, like in our selling, right? Like, because if we move out, property's vacant, like, you think we should stage it and do like the inspections and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Like, does that make a huge difference in the price, right?
So on my end, yes, I do think that staging makes a huge difference when it comes to selling a house. Unfortunately, the 20 years that I've been doing business, my experience is that the majority of people don't have imagination, right? So if we can take that away from them and give them a house that's fully furnished, it definitely pulls on more of an emotional strings more often than not. And usually if I can pull on emotional strings, means that we get higher prices on homes. So yeah, it is statistically shown to show more to increase the prices around about 5%.
And you guys take care of all that with that package?
I take care of everything. There's nothing that you're going to do in regards to I'll never be asking you for money. Everything that happens moving forward, once you sign up with our team, is that I end up paying for everything out of pocket, so that it doesn't really affect you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like the idea of you guys handling all that stuff. I mean, if we need to get paint, like I have a cousin who has a painting company, and I'm sure he'll hook me up if we need to do some paint. Or if you have a guy that, gives a good price, I can look at their stuff too. But I've used him before for some other projects. And so I don't necessarily know if we need the platinum, but I do like the idea of, because that house you showed me, the 1-3, I walked in that house when it was on the market. It was up down the street, and I remember they staged it. It looked nice and painted and everything. So
So
Whether that
let's dive into
happens.
the goal package. This might make it a little bit easier. You have to remember, part of me being a marketer is that I have a short attention span to capture people's attention. And it's been shown I only have anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds. So your home is going to be splattered with every other home that's out there. Okay. So I'm bringing this up for 2 reasons. The reason being is because Zillow Seller Showcase does an amazing job of taking us out of the pack. They just highlight ours right off the bat, which is great. Okay. But the second thing that happens is I need to make sure that it's an amazing spotless home, because I only have a small attention span to compete with. It's literally 3 seconds. And what has shown is that once someone skips over your home the first time, chances are they don't come back. Right?
Okay.
So we want to make sure that that if we're going to go live, that we put our best foot forward in order to capture that attention that we need.
Yeah.
Right? That's my recommendation. If you're asking me, gold is what usually all of my clients seem to pick,
Okay.
because it just seems to be the most reasonable bang for buck that comes out of it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think I like the goal.
Okay.
Yeah. The house down the street, it was staged pretty nice. I mean, the houses, I think we had some better upgrades, but it looked nice. Like when you walked in, like there's a lot of people at the open
Right.
house, and it looked like the way it was all put
Right.
together, like, you know.
And that's the goal for ours as well, right? I mean, listen, there's no reason for us to reinvent the wheel, right?
Yeah.
It's just basically let's go find success and then study success, and then copy success, right? So if you saw a home that has already been staged or let's not swerve too much off of that, right?
Got it.
Let's stay as close as we can to kind of put our flavor on in the whole mix.
Got it.
Right.
Okay. Makes sense.
So Enrique, as far as the percentages, it sounds like you're leaning towards a 3%. Is that right?
The gold, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the gold seems. Now, is there, I mean, I'm assuming you can help us find the next house too, right? How does that work? Like,
Right.
if I'm doing like sell and buy, is there like a bundle or a deal we get, or
There is.
I don't get one free? I don't
So
know what you guys offer, right?
no, those are great questions, Enrique. So yes, we do offer that. Usually I offer that on the buy side and not on the sell side.
Okay.
Once the buy side comes on, we definitely will discount our commissions in order for us to get you what you're looking for. So yes,
Okay, so
I'm
now-
100% open for it. It's just right now we don't know how much, right? It's kind of up in the air at the moment.
Got it.
Yeah.
So we might be, okay.
Yeah, but my commitment to you would be that.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there any other questions?
No.
So let me ask you this, Enrique, based on the conversation that we had at the moment, do you see any reason of why we couldn't fulfill the goals that you're looking for at the moment?
I like what you've shown me so far. It sounds, yeah, it definitely sounds like it. How long would it take? Like if we get to move out and hand you the keys and you guys kind of do your thing, like what are we looking at as far as like timeline?
That's a great question. Right now, it's taking me anywhere from about 2 to 3 weeks to get a home prepped and ready for the market. Okay, that seems to be our normal range at the moment. Okay, so let's talk about that timeline really quick. So if it takes me 2 to 3 weeks, and I'm always going to go on worst case scenario 3 weeks.
Mhm.
Okay, it takes us 7 days. It takes us 7 days to get an offer.
Mhm.
Right, that's already a month,
Mhm.
and it takes 30 days to jump into escrow.
Okay.
We're probably looking at anywhere from 2 to 2.5 months to have everything completed.
Got it.
Okay. Now, if we can do it faster, great. But again, I just want to be realistic to you.
Mhm.
As far as planning wise, that's probably the best timeline that you can get. Now, if you're looking for your next home, hold off on that at the moment.
Yeah.
Let me advise you when you should start, because what I don't want you to do is go out there looking for a home and you fall in love with it, and then I have to kind of pump a brakes on those plans.
Got
Right.
it. Yeah.
But that would be my timeline. Now, are you looking to sell this house and automatically get into the next house?
Like I said, we can stay at my parents, for a while, but
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
want to stay there forever, right? Like,
Right.
if we have to stay there for a couple months while this is all happening, that would be the ideal situation.
Really cool in-laws. That's
Yeah,
cool
we could
parents.
sell it and then like find our new place.
Right.
You know, assuming we can find something.
Really cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason being is because there has been instances where I've been able to make the smooth transition where you sell your house and you jump into your new one.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're not that much of a rush, which is cool because
Well,
you want to
sooner
make
the
sure.
better, so I just want to be clear, right?
Okay.
If we could make it happen sooner, then
Yeah.
that's better for me, but I do have some flexibility.
So
If, you know,
how about we do
I
this?
don't want to just buy whatever house either, right? I want to make sure I find the right house too.
I'm with you on that part. So why don't we do this, Kike or Enrique? When we're at that point where I want you to start shopping, I'll say something and then you make the decision if you want to take the next step or not about purchasing a home simultaneously. Because it's we are going to be playing with some timelines, right? And part of my side is to make sure that it's a smooth transaction, but there is going to be a point of no return, right? So I'll let you know when that is, and then you let me know if it's something that you want to kind of continue to go look at homes or not.
Got it.
Fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Is there any other questions, Kike? Is there anything else that you want me to kind of dive into a little bit more?
No.
No? No? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's everything sounds.
Okay. So I want to bring up a few things and then we'll jump into the next phase. One thing is that I offer a guarantee. Okay. My guarantee to you is that for whatever reason you're not happy with my services, I have an easy out clause, which basically allows you to leave the contract without having any sort of effect on your end. I have no problem with just ripping up the contract, shaking hands and parting ways.
Okay.
Only thing I ask is that you give me 24, 48 hours to fix it. If for whatever reason I can't, listen, I don't want to stop you from your goals.
Yeah.
Okay. The second guarantee that I have is that right now it's a whole lot of promises I'm making, right? You just met me like 10, 15 minutes ago, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, when you decide to sign the contract,
Yeah.
you're going to have to take a leap of faith in me. And I understand that might be scary, right? But I have what I call a commission guarantee. If at the end of the process, I don't deliver what I say I'm going to do,
Yeah.
you and I can go ahead and sit back down at the negotiation table and renegotiate my contract to something that's going to end up making more sense once the results are happening. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Enrique, I want to earn a customer for life.
Mhm.
And I want to do whatever it takes in order to make you happy, not only to give you what you want, but to make you happy. I want you guys to be raving clients of mine.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any questions on either one of those two?
No, I like that. Yeah.
Sounds good. So let's take the next step. The next step is for us to ratify our relationship by signing this contract. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a timeline so that I can go ahead and have Andrea reach out to you guys and we can go ahead and get the process started. Fair enough?
Yeah. Sounds good. All right. And role play. All right. All right. We got 10 minutes to give them feedback. Good job, bro. Good job. Everyone, first of all, this is coming up here in front of everybody. You're on the spot, right? You and some of us have role played it one-on-one. It's a little different. But when you're on the spot in front of everybody, it is a little hard. So just taking considerations, there's nerves and stuff like that. But let's just give it up a rock. All right. And hopefully you guys are taking some notes. If not, here's a little score sheet that you can just kind of refer to the sections. But let's also, anybody online watching, we'll get some feedback as well. Okay, number one. So the scoring, number 1 is below average, a 2 is okay average, a 3 is good, a 4 is like, wow, excellent. Like you crushed it on that area. So I want to score him in different areas.
Where's can I have a piece of paper? Can I see it? I want to see what I'm getting graded on. Hold on.
So let me okay.
What do I do?
So let's see.
All right.
All right.
Work with you guys, okay? I'll work with you guys.
Okay. So number 1, rapport and trust building, right? What I'm mainly looking at is, did they ask the right questions? Did they understand my needs or concerns? Did the agent make a connection with you? And would you trust them based off of his delivery there? Who wants to give him some feedback? 1 out of 4. 4 being wow, excellent.
Mark, you and I are the same, brother. You and I are the same, bro. Dry as hell, dog. All right?
5.
Hey, don't. Oh, my man.
Okay, so let's go. Give him some feedback, guys, on rapport and trust building.
All right, let's go.
Blanca, what do you got?
No, I think it was good. I think the rapport building was really good. What I would recommend is just connecting a little more. Just connecting.
Connecting a little more, right?
Connecting a little more with the client.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll also assume that because this is a role play, while he's walking the property in the beginning, he might have connected a little bit
Yeah.
more. But do you feel like based off the questions he asked, did he build some confidence or some trust, right? In that process.
Yes.
Right? What do you got?
I really like that last point, what he mentioned that, hey, at the end of the transaction, if I didn't deliver like what I promised you, we can again negotiate, we can come back to the table.
Okay.
That really, really adds to a lot of trust because a lot of people sometimes because of the market conditions, we might not sell what we promised.
Got it.
When we say that, we come back to the table and negotiate on what we discussed on, that adds a lot of trust actually.
Okay. So Shri says by him offering those guarantees of hey, if I don't deliver what I promised, I'm happy to renegotiate with you or even let you out of the contract, right? If you're not satisfied with the service. So that because of that gives some trust right there, right?
Confidence.
Anybody else, guys? Rapport, or trust. Let's just go around the room. Mark, what was your score? Rapport and trust building.
I give him a 3.6.
3.6. Okay.
That's high.
Blanca, what was your score? Trust building. Everyone's score, trust building.
You know, it's a-
3.5.
3.5. 4? 3.5? 3.5. And don't be afraid, guys. Rob, even though
Don't be
Rob
afraid.
Even though
Be
Rob
afraid.
is experienced, right? He is here to learn as well, right?
Yeah.
Because the market is changing. We got to continue to adapt and sharpen our skills. Antonio said 3.5 as well. Okay, perfect. Confidence and understanding of the material. How well did the agent know the material, right? I'm grading him on the presentation. Were they just reading or presenting confidently? Does the agent know their stuff? Yeah.
I think Rob, so he definitely knows the material so much that he didn't even use it.
Yeah.
Which would be my feedback because when we did the presentation with Bruce, right afterwards, his first comment was, "Can you send me the slideshow so I can go back and review it with my wife?"
Yeah.
So maybe using this as
Yes.
a guide
Right.
more instead of freestyling,
Yeah,
even though you know
absolutely.
the material really well because you've done it so much. Just because they're going to want to go back and reference this, and it's going to be hard to reference when you freestyle. the whole
You're
thing.
right. You're right. Usually what I do when I have a listing,
Oh, this is not because for sake of time, right? I don't want us to defend ourselves. I want us to get real honest feedback, right? Because sometimes, and this is where we for you to grow in this is where you just got to listen, and then you got to decide what you do with that information, right? Because since we're salespeople, it's really easy to try to justify why I did what I did, but you don't grow in that process, right? So this is honest feedback from your peers. So okay, what was it? So what was his score?
Confidence. He's confident and he understands the material, so I give him a high score. I would just maybe stick to the slides to an extent so that the seller can follow what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go.
Are you there? Sorry.
Yeah, go for
Okay. I feel like he knows the material, he knows the stuff, but I feel that by not showing, illustrating, and I know this was just, training purposes, it was confusing the client.
Yeah.
There was a little disconnect there where it was so much information that they weren't able to follow.
Got it.
Yeah.
And that's powerful,
Okay.
right? Because we
That's
don't want to definitely confuse them or make them feel like this guy's all over the place.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
not a structure.
Okay.
Yeah. I did a 3.
Anybody else?
It's all confidence is really good, but I feel like Rob gets a lot of adrenaline.
Guess what? A
Adrenaline.
lot of adrenaline.
When we don't stick to the material, I think we miss some points. We didn't even talk about what's the buyer's commission now because of the new NAR rules.
Yeah.
So when we don't stick to the script, we'll miss on the points, and again they'll call you back.
Yeah.
So I think stick to the script.
Or what could happen is they meet with someone else that does cover that stuff, and then they're like, well, why didn't he cover that? Right? Because sometimes we're just in the adrenaline mode and just boom, 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 and then we forget, right? And so the guide is to help you stay on track, right? Anybody else? Feedback.
I know. I want to say I forgot the presentation, and so there's no visuals. Some people are visual learners, so with a visual, it can, everyone said, it's a little confusing, and you can miss some stuff out. You did not go over the net sheet with the seller, and he mentioned it multiple times. I think that's really important for him. And the buyer's compensation for NAR. So
Yeah. Okay. You got anything?
Yeah, I would kind of say like a mix of both,
Yeah.
to be honest. Like, I felt like you were like giving me a lot, and then like even I couldn't follow. And I'm like reading with you, right? I know the listing presentation, but it was like a lot. You were just spitting, and then rather than just having a conversation, you were just like trying to cover all aspects instead of just like following it like smooth
Yeah.
with the presentation. But yeah, like the net sheet, right, and the NAR settlement, I thought that was something you should have brought up too. And then one thing that did stick out to me that I really think you should never say again is that you've been in the business for 20 years and you don't know where buyers come from. Because right after that, you gave like 10 examples of where buyers came from. But then I was stuck hearing you just say you don't know where buyers come from,
Right.
and that didn't sound very confident.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah. And this probably.
and I get what you
This
meant.
is, it's the wording, it's the way
It's
he
the
just said it,
wording. I
right? The
get what you
message,
meant.
the point was good point, but the way he explained it, it was kind of confusing a little bit, right?
Well, it's just, I know what he meant. Like, he doesn't know where they're gonna come from, like, as far as like which one's gonna buy it, right? But then you gave like, oh, they come from open house, they come from door knocking, come from this. It's like, you know where they come from. You just don't know which one's gonna land.
Yeah,
That makes sense?
So
Yeah.
yours.
yeah, maybe word it a little bit different, right?
Turning it a little.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anybody else? I think maybe prefacing to the clients that it's a lot of info in this presentation, we provided them use visuals. Okay, so that's what Antonio said, is letting them know, hey guys, I know this is a lot of info, but I'm gonna share this with you as well if you gotta go back and reference it, right? This way they're not kind of like confused or lost. Hold on. We got two more minutes. Tonality and delivery. Was the delivery fun and engaging? Was the agent's personality showing?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? No?
Yep.
For tonality?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you get a sense of, so here's the thing, did you get a sense of Rob personally,
no,
right? The tonality, the delivery, right? Did you get a sense of his personality?
no.
Or was it just?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was just
Yeah,
straightforward,
yeah,
but no personality.
No fun.
yeah.
He in his defense, he did cram
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
hour and a half
Yeah.
presentation
And maybe he
into like
did
40
that
minutes
tonality at the beginning,
Yeah,
when he took his time.
personality
yeah,
building.
okay. Ability to close. Did the agent close, like go at the end and try to close me? Would you personally pick this agent, right? And did the agent show enough value to get the client to move forward? Right? So that's all kind of wrapped up in as you're thinking his ability to close the deal, right? Was there enough value shown to get you to want to move forward? Antonio said kinda was, I don't know if that was the personality or closing. Did the agent go for the signature? So did he go for the signature? Did he move forward to try to sign the agreement? Well, he did at the end. He said,
Yeah, he said, let's
Kinda.
ratify this.
we'll ratify
Yeah.
this, right? Since we're role playing, he didn't like go like that, but he leaned towards that, right? He didn't leave it out, basically. He leaned towards, hey, we got to get the signature, right? So I would say
To get
yes.
started, he basically said for us to get started, we need to ratify.
Okay, so that's asking for the business,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Okay. Did he show enough value to move the client forward? Do you guys feel like if I was the seller, he showed me enough to move forward?
Yes. Value, he's a lot of proposition, lot of value.
What do you think?
I'm mixed. And I'm mixed because I'm referencing it. I'm playing a scenario with my seller to buy. And one of the things that really stood out with me when I did my listing presentation was like, this is so clearly illustrated and we feel so much better on the process of selling to buy.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that in this scenario, the seller had that confidence or a clear understanding of the sell to buy.
Yeah. We didn't go really too into that.
Yeah,
He stuck
Just
more,
that
he
was-
stuck more with the listing
yeah,
and didn't really give me here's how we sell to buy. Like he didn't really kind of give me that illustration. He just said, hey, we'll tackle that later,
Yes.
right? He kind of said that.
Yeah,
And so that could work against you because if you meet with me and I mapped it all out of, hey, we're going to sell this, then we're going to do this, and then we're going to put an offer here,
Yeah.
then that would have been more valuable.
and that's the only thing that I'm referencing with those particular clients. That was the deal breaker for me, for them moving forward.
Yeah.
It's like, we feel confident that you're gonna hold our hand every step of the way, and we have a clear understanding to get us to that next home.
Yeah. And to Rob's defense too, we're a
Very
short time, right?
Yeah.
That probably would have led to a longer conversation, right? Had we had more time.
Yeah.
And so that factor does come into play, right? If we had more time, we weren't just trying to do classroom right here, he'd probably go a little more into that. Okay. Strengths. What do you guys think Rob's strengths are?
He knows his numbers, like he gets with a lot of data, a lot of people are data.
Mhm.
He
Yeah.
knows his data.
He knows his data. Okay.
Confident, knowledge, that's very well communicated and shown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Opportunities for improvement.
I don't know, in my culture, I feel what I can tell you, obviously, if you're going to my Indian clients, you need to slow down. You have a lot of adrenaline rush. We don't like it. You need to slow down when you're explaining also.
Yeah.
They don't like that much aggressiveness on them.
Yeah.
They need to be like slowly explaining.
Yeah.
That's the only thing what I can say from my culture.
That makes sense.
Anybody else? Opportunity for improvement. The feels?
Yeah.
Feelings, right?
I have a hard time with
Same.
that.
Same.
So a lot of the questions that I asked too are like make believe, feelings too. You know? So I
She almost said data-driven confidence and knowledge. Yeah, definitely. Here's my assessment, right? And we'll wrap it up. Number one, confidence through the roof, right? We already know Rob's confident in himself, right? Like definitely like the way you're projecting your voice, all that stuff, tonality, like I know I want you in a fight with me, basically, right? Where I feel like I think two big things I think would make your presentation a lot better is just follow the slides. Even if you don't read them verbatim, but just use them as knowing what point to jump to, right? Because that's what I do is I don't read them verbatim. I'll pull them up and I just know, okay, it's time to talk about this. It's time to talk about that. And then I'll freestyle that, right? But what you got to understand about presentation, and this is something that like goes more into psychology, is people learn differently, right? Without getting too into it, there's some people that are more feeling based. There's some people that are more data based. There's more people that are more like visual based. And so I think if you have a combination of the three, right, where you get in touch with them to really understand their needs, you also are able to talk really good, and then you also have something to show them.
Very true.
You kind of hit the trifecta there, and it kind of hits all the points because the husband can be one way where he was fine, just straightforward, and the wife, like the visual would have really helped her. Like maybe the wife like is a homemaker and she's like doesn't know how all this shit works, but the visual, like, okay, now it's all kind of tying together. So I think just following the slides and just using it as your guide of when to say what, right? Even if you don't read them, but you know, okay, now I gotta like look up here. Now we're gonna talk about your needs, okay? And then I'll just ask you the questions because he knows them. He just kind of jumped around in different orders, and it didn't allow it to flow like seamlessly, right? But if you would have just stayed, because he did hit him, but he hit him out of order, which made it for me a little confusing, right? Now, and then I also think the way that you can connect more is just by slowing down, right? Just by like a little more relaxed, put your hands up, slowing down. I think if you did that and had some dynamics, right, where sometimes you're a little more serious and like chill, and then there's certain points where you're going to push it a little bit more, I think that would have just made the connection a little better, bro.
I've been telling you that since we did our listing presentation together. This will slam the Red Bull right before we want.
But here's the thing, guys. But here's what you got to learn is, and this is self-assessment, right? Rob naturally is a very like driven, he's an A driver, right? Which is why he's a great athlete, which is why he's really consistent. He has that alpha personality, which is great, right? But when you're dealing with people, it's not just about giving them who you are, it's about understanding who they are and trying to mirror and match, right? And so that's where you have to already got to tell yourself, I know I'm a little driven. Let me read these people and then let me tailor my conversation. Let me slow it down if I need to. Let me speed up if I need to, right?
100%.
And you're so full of knowledge that at times you say things that can scare the client.
Yeah.
Like I wrote just like something here for me because you did it a couple of times, but one of the ones you said was, you're at the point of no return.
I was like, oh shit.
And I was like, when you said that, I was like, that can go like, good, we're gonna make this happen and build the client up, or it could be like, oh shit. And that's where the client could be like, no, I'm not ready.
You inserted something
Yeah.
that they weren't thinking about,
Yeah.
right?
But I know why you use that word when you use it. You were like, we're in.
All right.
This is it. Let's go. But that could be like something very
Yeah.
scary for someone. And I just wrote it because I was like, oh shit.
But I think if,
Terrified.
I think here's the thing. I think if Rob just stayed on track
Or
and then just kind of just chilled out a little bit more, he wouldn't need to try to fill in these little catchphrases and these little nuances and these little things that sometimes aren't really adding value to the equation, right? But sometimes you're doing that because you're looking for filler words, right? When you're just trying to and you're trying, what should I throw in next? What should I throw in next?
like if you would have maybe rephrased it to say once, because you were talking about when they're ready to start submitting offers. And you could have just said, I'm gonna be holding your hand and I'm gonna let you know when we're ready to
good
take
one.
that next step
Okay.
and move forward to get you to plan B,
Yeah.
to the finish line.
Yeah.
We're talking about feelings.
But you said
Yeah.
point of no return. I was like,
Once you're at the point of no return, then we'll start shopping for homes. I'll say, the world gonna end.
Sorry,
Um,
guys. Off the east side, over there.
So, but in summary, here's this, guys, because Rob, and I want to give you kudos for being up here and taking all our feedback, right? Because so that takes a lot, right? You're being put on the spot and nobody likes to be critiqued, right? But here's the thing. You do a lot of stuff that's great and you obviously have signed a lot of listings,
Yeah.
right? But the point of this is how do I go from
Yes.
this to this next level,
You're
right?
absolutely
Like if you're at a 9, how do I get to a 10?
You're right.
And that's going to be with these small little tweaks, right? And I think following the guide, slowing down, just connecting more. I think if that's the biggest thing you could take away, bro, I think that is going to be the domino that
I'll do
leads
that.
to everything
I'll have
else.
that up and I'll work on, I'll recognize tonality.
Yeah.
when I go in there.
And for you guys watching, the observers, you guys get to learn a lot of like, okay, what stuff is really good and then what stuff do I need to be aware of, right? So I think this was very, very helpful on both sides as you guys start to go out there and do your own listing presentations.
So
Yeah.
let me do this, guys. This was brought up to me at like 4:00 yesterday.
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 So it was on the
Okay.
spot, right?
It was on the spot.
Yeah.
And I don't use the listing presentation. I think it's a great listing presentation. So let me do this. Can I come back to you guys next week
No, so look,
prepared?
so next week someone else is going to do it,
Okay.
but you will get a shot to come do it again,
Okay.
right?
good.
For sure, right? Because what I want to do is I want to every week someone else is doing it, right? Just like this, because this is the only way you're going to get good. Shree did it with me already. I haven't seen Mark do it. I think you and I did it one time out there, but it's been a while, right? Josh, I haven't seen you do it. I've seen Blanca do it before, right? But I like to put Blanca on the spot too, right?
Well, Blanca's got a listing appointment that she's gonna now do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hi, Blanca. No, I ain't doing it. No.
Here's one more thing. Here's what,
not used.
I gotta go do an offer consult, guys.
Here's one more thing though, one more thing. One thing that's really helpful that I even forgot, and we use this with Bruce, is to have the seller net sheet. The Chicago app.
Yeah.
I was able to have it up and I was able to do it in
Yes.
front of him on the app, right? Okay, which program do you want? Okay, I like the gold. Okay, let's see what the gold would look like, right? And I think by us doing it in front of him, he got a good visual of how much he could walk away with. That actually, I think he really liked that.
Yeah, so I do that with all my presentations, and I give 3 of them out, by the way.
Yeah.
I give the high, the more realistic one, and the low one, and then I give it to them. So it gives them, it breaks everything out, demystifies everything. Guys, for a listing presentation, to be honest with you, it only comes down to numbers, and if they believe in you and if they like you, that's what it comes down to, right? So you could control the believing part by learning the mistakes that I did on my end. The numbers is black and white. It's either gonna
Yeah, the
work
numbers
or
are the
it's not gonna
numbers,
work.
right? But you have to be able to show them the numbers, right? So yeah, it's a combination of all of those for sure.
Quick question for that Zillow showcase, what are you guys illustrating?
There's a link in the presentation. So what I did it one time. So the last one. So what I did is I had them, there's a scan,
Barcode.
the barcode. I scanned it and it's a video. I don't even say it.
Yeah.
We just watched the video.
We did that with Bruce too. So
I got
Go for it, go for it.
Let me go do this.
So right here, it's a slide now. So on the newest version of the listing presentation, right, it says 2025. If you go to Canva, I added this slide here, which I call our secret weapon, and it's the Zillow showcase. So what you can do is you can scan it with your phone, or you can already have it pulled up and saved on your desktop.
Yes.
And then all you do is hit play from there or hit play from your phone,
Got it.
right? And we did that with Bruce, and actually that was part of what helped separate us from the other agents. Because he's like, man, I really like that showcase thing. Because at first he was like, have you guys sold homes in this area? And he was more like, are you from the area? But then once I showed him that,
Yeah.
he was starting to forget about like what area you're from and more like, all right, you guys are going to market my home better. Any questions, guys? Feedback? Was this helpful?
Yeah.
Really helpful.
Yeah.
Good. It was
good.
really good.
All right. Who do I got